You're listening to Cash and Sass. I'm Lisa Marie, your go-to gal for all things money. As the Sassy Wealth Queen and the brains behind the Sassy Wealth Coach, I'm here to take you on a thrilling ride from the financial chaos to sassy and sexy money. Hey, my sassy friend. Welcome back to another episode of Cash and Sass. My name is Lisa Marie, and I am the brains behind this podcast and the Sassy Wealth Coach. And today with me, I have Laurie-Ann Murabito. She's a speaking coach and a speech strategist. She's also a reformed, painfully shy gal who accidentally became a professional speaker. She works with coaches and consultants to write and deliver captivating presentations to establish credibility, attract ideal clients, and monetize their authority. She combines her years as an award-winning professional speaker, executive leadership coach, and her obsession with neuroscience. Laurie-Ann is the best-selling author of Rethink Leadership and Rethink Your Leadership, and the host of the Be in Demand podcast. A few of her clients are Johnson & Johnson, American Cancer Society, Baystate Wealth, and Bali Mastermind by Sabrina Philipp. To learn more, you can visit her website, which will also be in the show notes. And I can also say I have been a client, and she knows her stuff. But we're going to dive into her money journey and all the things. And then we're also going to talk about, I have a really special question for her because she wrote something. So we're gonna first start, and then y'all can see it. Okay. So I would like you to tell us how your money journey started, where you started realizing that your relationship with money would always be evolving, and that, for example, you even said asking for a refund is not on you. It's on, them, and it doesn't mean you're not good at what you do. I think sometimes we give money more power than we should.
Yes.
It's a tool. It helps make the world go round, and the power should always be with us. And so I think that starting there is a really good place to start.
Yeah. So I will share with people, if this hasn't happened to you, it will happen to you at some point in your entrepreneurial journey. Whether you're a service provider, you're a coach, you're a consultant, somebody's going to ask for a refund. And the very first time that somebody asked me for a refund, I took it so personal. So personal. I mean, I remember crying about it. And I took it personal because it was just like, that meant the story that I was making up was I wasn't good enough. When I also knew I saw a complete personality change in this person. So something was up. So I knew that I had to handle this particular situation in the right manner, because if you don't learn the lesson, it will show up again. And that prepped me for the next person who did ask for a refund. And that was when the world was locked down and they didn't read the information properly about delaying their mortgage payments. And then they had to do the big lump sum. It's 6 months later. So it wasn't anything on me. It was just they didn't prepare. But I handled that like a pro. So much so that when a good friend of mine was in a similar situation, and she was just I'm just gonna give her all her money back. And I said to her, I said, be careful, slow down, take a breath, because you need to, this is a lesson that you need to learn, and how you handle this one will predict how you handle the next one. So as much as it was like this hard mountain that I climbed that first time, I'm so glad, because I've had people ask for hey, this program isn't for me. I'm in the wrong room. I'm happy to offer yeah. So sorry. And I look at that as where did I miss that? What could I have said on my sales page that would really call out the right people and really push the wrong people away?
Yeah, I like that. And how did your money journey start, or how did you did you always have a good money mindset? Did you always have a good relationship with your money?
I don't know if I always had a good relationship with money, but looking at other people that are around me, especially like my mom, I could see the scarcity mindset glaring. But I don't know if like years before, like when I was like in college or my 30s, and, did I talk like my mom? I'm not sure. I know that I was embarrassed by what I had.
What do you mean by you were embarrassed by what you had?
Well, I'm the only one of me and my sisters who doesn't have children. So they all have kids. So if I had something nice, I almost felt like I was like covering it up. I didn't want people to know. There was a time when I still do. I mean, like I have 2 cars and I have a car that's down in Florida. Like I don't even drive it that much. So sometimes that I think early on, I would just kind of like cover it up. I didn't want people to know that, yeah, I had 2 cars. And that's just like for an example. But I think now, as I've journeyed and walked this money relationship journey, I recognize that when I am doing that, it's just like, well, Lauren, like take a breath. What are you making this mean?
Right, right. Because I think that comes from, the reason why women don't talk about money anyway is a fear of judgment. So whether it's a fear of judgment of I'm handling money badly,
Hmm.
or a fear of judgment of who the hell does she think she is having 2 vehicles and 2 houses and whatever, right? When the situations are totally different. For example, I have 2 cars, but I don't have one in a different state. And I also have 2 kids. And Laurie-Anne doesn't. So we have to remember that um how someone lives their life, we don't always know the whole big, huge scheme of things. I have a
Hmm.
friend who, um, and there's times I'm so jealous. Um, she can just get up and just like decide tomorrow that she's going to go travel to Florida for a week, or wherever. She's an entrepreneur and she has no kids. So she can
Hmm.
just, say, oh, I want to leave Friday. I want to leave next Friday. I'm going on this vacation. And she goes. And a lot of us are like, well, who does she think she is? Or would be nice to have all that kind of money. Well, technically, she's probably doing just as well as I am. And my money is going other places because,
Right.
again, I have 2 kids.
Right.
Um, and I think that us as women, one, need to, one, stop shaming each other, and 2, realize that we don't need to be ashamed of what we're doing with our money, whether it's a mistake or not. So, I'll get into that. We all make money mistakes and instead learn the lesson from them and move forward. You know what I mean? And I think that's a bigger thing than us putting each other down, because that's what I got from you when you were saying you're covering it up. Is that's a fear of judgment,
Yeah.
and I
What
get a
would
lot of
people think?
clients on the opposite, right, on the opposite end of the spectrum, who've made money mistakes and they'll cover up big or bury their head in the sand because they're afraid of judgment. And so you got these 2 sides, and I think we just need to realize that if we lifted each other up and just saw it for what it was, hey, you know what? She's doing damn good. She doesn't have kids, so she's spending the money on her. You know, okay, if I didn't have kids, I would too. Just saying. I mean, now I don't regret having my kids. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there are different scenarios, and that's going to kind of put me into going into when I asked you what limiting beliefs you had. The one that you checked, what you actually wrote your own, and I think this goes into it, is what will other people think?
There's the judgment again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it goes to what will other people think about you making more money, and also how you're living your life and spending it. Is that where it would go?
How I was spending my money, what I spent my money on. Um, yeah, all of those, they were just, yeah, I just felt like here I was, like my friends, my sisters, people that I knew, like they were like raising small children, like diapers are expensive, so that's where their money was going to. And so here's Laurie-Anne, like, oh, she's decided like she doesn't feel like cooking dinner tonight. So she's going to go get some takeout. She wants to buy these. There's a pair of earrings. Like it was such a moment in my life. And I look back on it, it was like, they were $60. But I remember crying. I didn't get them that week. Yeah. So I saw them. They were $60. They were beautiful. And I remember just like crying because I could afford that. But my sisters, I was making judgments about my sisters. That's the other part. That's the other side of this. Not only was I afraid of people judging me because I could spend $60 on a pair of earrings, but that my sisters couldn't. But I had no idea. Like my sisters all probably they might have had $60, but they might have wanted to let me go buy a couple pairs of shoes for my young children. They would do that instead of buying.
You were assuming what they could and couldn't do and what they would think and what they wouldn't think. Yeah.
Yes. I did go back the following weekend to this cute little quaint town that's on the coast here in New England. And I went and bought those earrings and I still have them. I still have them because it was such a moment. It was a very defining moment about what I could and couldn't do. And why was I depriving myself since I was judging other people and afraid of other people judging me? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is something that you did or how did you move through that? How did you move, I won't say past it, but how did you move through it to see that it doesn't matter what other people think because, you've worked, you own your own business. You're an entrepreneur and entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
Yes.
There are a lot of peaks and valleys. And
yes.
just when you think they're not, and you've got this straight road, you are going to be thrown a sharp curve. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
7 years in and yep. Biggest sharp curve ever. It happened October, November of last year. And we've been a lot of times when those happens, you get these shifts. And that's when you also, during those shifts, your money beliefs and your money mindset will be tested.
Yeah.
And you need to have those tools that I talk about and the 5 codes of being wealthy that I talk about, because that leads into all of that. And so I want to know, what are some tools or what have you done that's helped you move your mindset to where you can have an abundance mindset and you don't have to worry. You don't worry about judgment.
Enjoyment. Enjoying the moment. Enjoying the earrings that I eventually bought that took me 7 days to go get. I enjoyed wearing them. But I'll give your audience more of a modern day. When I go to, I take myself out maybe for lunch. Now, there's this great Mexican restaurant that I absolutely adore. I love getting their vegetarian burrito. So we're talking about something that is less than $15. But while I'm sitting there enjoying my abundant lifestyle and my abundance with money, I am so grateful that I have the money to go there, because I know that my $15 plus my tip is actually putting food on somebody else's table. It's paying somebody else's electric bill. I'm tipping the waiter, but at the same time, I'm also enjoying the fact that, wow, I'm sitting here, somebody is making my dinner or my lunch. Somebody is bringing the food, serving the food. Somebody is clearing the table afterwards. I literally go through all of that and just have immense gratitude for what I do have currently right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just I play this over in my mind, even when I once saw a friend of mine and she's a weight loss coach, and she was talking about the purpose of prayer, saying a prayer before a meal. And I was like, wow. So I have at times whenever I remember this, I will just look at the food and just bless and thank the people who grew the vegetables, who raised the livestock, who transported the food to the grocery store, that I had the money to actually go and buy this food and then prepare this so that it could nourish my body. It's like a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
And that just, I don't know, that just makes me happy to do that.
No, I like that though, because it starts with what I say all the time is showing part of shifting your money mindset is showing gratitude. Showing, oh, excuse me, there is a
Showing
hair in my
gratitude
eye.
for what you currently have. I see so many people in the online space who are, yeah, but I don't have the Louis Vuitton bag yet. It's like, it's not
Okay,
about,
no offense, but I'm not going to get a Louis Vuitton bag. I'm one of those ones who can, and it would be spent on my kids, and I know what I would go buy first.
yes. So, and
But
that's the
and
point is too many
that's the
people.
beauty of it, right? That's the
Yes.
beauty of it, and that's
Like,
the
what
point.
does the Louis
And
Vuitton bag even mean for you? Like, are you even going to enjoy it? I remember somebody writing a post about, like she bought the typical, I call it like the gate entry, purse, Louis Vuitton's tote. And the post was all about, I bought this for my clients so that they could see like what was possible. I was like, but that's not what everybody wants. So like, why are we
I'm
telling?
not gonna buy a Louis Vuitton bag and then go put it in my closet if I'm not gonna use it and enjoy it.
Right.
And I'm very picky about my purses and my bags because I need to be able to organize my stuff. I'm not like one of those women who likes
Me
to go to
too.
a bottomless pit to find things. I can't stand that.
Yeah.
So my bag has to be super organized, which means it has to have the dividers. And a lot of those Coach bags, or the bigger ones, right? Or the Louis Vuitton, they don't. They're
We
just
don't.
one big open bag. I have a Michael Kors bag that I bought and I love it. It's pink. I love it. It has no divider. To y'all, that Michael Kors bag is inside the protecting bag it came in, and it's in a closet.
You
I don't enjoy it because I mean, I tried because I love it. I love the color and I wanted a Michael Kors bag. Um, and it doesn't, it, all my stuff, it was like a bottomless pit. And I was like, okay, I can't do this. This
right.
doesn't
Mhm.
work.
But
This
it's
doesn't
about
work.
enjoying what you do have.
Mhm.
So it's not about the $1,200 bag. It's
Right.
about the $20 bag that you might have bought at Target or Marshall's or something. And it's just like, this is exactly what I want. And it's the way that we hold that bag, we use that bag, and it's like, God, I love this bag.
Yep. I have an imitation leather, looks like a crocodile like type of bag. It's imitation. And everybody's like, "Oh, I love that." And they think it's real. It's not. And I got it online and I promise it's not real. And I think that's the point. I enjoy the bag. It's multicolor between pink and purple, my two favorite colors. And it has a little bit of blue in it. I love that bag. And I bought two of them because I didn't want to not be able to get one if another one if one ripped up. So again, I really love that bag. And the whole thing is that's what I tell people when you are shifting your money mindset. Be grateful for the what you have now. Enjoy when you buy, make sure it's purposeful and strategic and aligned with your core values and your desires so that you do enjoy it. And make sure you're saying thank you when you pump the gas, when you pay a bill. It sounds weird, I know, and I promise you, it works. It shifts it. It doesn't do it overnight, but the more you do it,
The easier
it's
it
like practice.
gets.
It's just like practicing, exercising, doing anything else. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the more natural it becomes, and you start seeing the small shifts in your thinking of how you're thinking about money.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important.
We
One
did
of the
talk about
things.
I just wanted to share a story about the gas. There
Oh,
was a time, what, about like a couple of years ago, when gas prices went up to almost close to $5.
in
And
some places, yes, and
yeah,
here in South Carolina, it went over. It got right up to 4. We were one
yeah,
of the lower ones. I don't know.
depending on where you are in the
I'm not
United
sure how
States.
lucky we were being over
Mhm.
4, but
But I
yes.
remember putting gas in my car, and I was, where I could see a lot of people were just putting like $20 in at a time. And there I am, I'm filling my tank up, and I'm filling it and saying, I am so grateful. thank you, money, for being here for me when I need you. Like this, like whatever it was, like $60, $70. I was just like, oh, think of the places that I'm going to be able to drive that my $70 just got me. Like there's this exchange. That money turned into gas, that gas turned into transportation. And again, there's the domino effect.
Yeah. And the same thing goes, especially right now with grocery prices.
Mm-hmm.
I recognized myself getting very frustrated with how the price of groceries each week, because we go once a week and we have this, we do a meal plan, we have a list. If it's not on the list, we don't get it. We just have this whole thing. So my girls know that they need to make sure, if they're running out of something, it goes on the list,
Mm-hmm.
because we go once a week. And one of the things that I've noticed is, even though we're going once a week, the total cost has climbed, and I started recognizing the frustration and that scarcity coming up, and I stopped and took a breath, and then I just said, "Thank you for there being money in the account to buy these groceries to feed me and my kids, which will provide us nourishment," and just took a deep breath and just said thank you, and when you do that, you're not allowing that scarcity to come up and take over.
Yeah.
And it's just so, so, so important.
Yes.
Because if you let it take over, you can get stuck there.
Yes.
And then it's hard to come out of it.
Yes. Now, there was a time my husband did not have the money mindset that I have. Now, the funny thing about us, just for everyone to understand, like I'm super easy with the thousands. Like that's my easy zone, and my husband is used to selling equipment. So he's really good with the millions. Okay. So the he can go sell like a $600,000 machine. It's like no big deal. But when it comes to the thousands, it was like, it would, you could tell like that's where we just complement each other. And there was a time when, financially, things were really rough for us, and we had to pay the taxes for our house down in Florida. And I would make him, I'm like, okay, I have to we have to send this payment for our taxes once a year. So I'd be like, here you go. I'm like, you need to get in a good place. I want you to just think about all the things that you're super grateful for. Then I want you to write the check. And I think he was just doing this okay, my wife is crazy, but he did it anyways. And then he would write the check and he would hand it to me, and I would say, now kiss it goodbye, because it's coming back. And he would he would do what I asked. But guess what? We are in such a wonderful place right now. And we have these jokes about money. And, just to share with people, this is only a little public, right? Because a friend of mine said, she was sharing with it. She's like, oh, her and her husband are in a business together. She goes, we just can't seem to break the 500,000 mark. And I said, how are you playing with money? How are you stretching yourself? So me and my husband, we have a nickname for each other now. And we call each other Mr. Mr. and Mrs. B. For billions. Okay. Now it used to be, the M's. We used to be the M's, and our last name is technically begins with a T. We haven't moved into that arena. I'm like, that's a huge jump, but that's what we call each other. We call each other. He always says, good morning, Mrs. B. Or when he calls me during the day, it's, I just so what are you up to, Mr. B? Have you made any money yet today? It's almost noon. So we have this game with money. And so I really think, I have a spiritual belief about money, and that money's just wow, they're having a lot of fun with us. Let's go hang around with them a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels so much better.
And not only that, it goes back to what I say all the time: what you focus on, you create more of.
Yes.
So when you have that energeticness of having fun and make it in a game, and and doing whatever, the energy and the spirituality from it, you're now no longer focusing on the negativity. You're no longer focusing on what you don't have.
Yes.
The don'ts and all that. You're focusing, excuse me, on what you have. You're focusing on what could be, right?
Yes.
Because one of the things we talk about all the time is we as humans tend to spend too much time in the past, which is done and over with, fretting over the future, which is not here yet, and not enough time in the present when we can actually do something about it.
Right.
And somebody said that to me and said, have you ever thought about that when it comes to the shift in your business and your money and the money mindset? And I stopped and I went, well, damn. Because I was starting to slowly go back and fret over what had happened 2 months ago. Okay, I was still in that when it already happened. There was not a damn thing I could do about it. It was done. I could take care of now. I could do now. I could concentrate on here. Concentrate on here. Think of your future self, yes, but concentrate on from here. And what would your future self do now to get you to where you want to go? Right. And it wouldn't be living in the past. So, and the same thing comes with that money and that money mindset is you have to think abundantly and positively and have some fun with it. Because again, what you focus on, you create more of.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love that you put on there is just, that you wanted to talk about. And I think it's important for us to touch base before the end of the podcast because I had to work on it. So many people think we have to grind and work till we're burnt out to make money. Not only about enjoying the things, but that if we're not working, so it's like, for example, I used to fear someone was going to judge me on my summers. I'm a summer girl. If you follow me, know me at all on Facebook, anywhere else, I am a summer girl. If you don't, you're new, then guess what? You just found out. I am a summer girl. I love spring and summer. June and July, in my opinion, summer is too short. But June and July, I literally cut half the week out. I lengthen Mondays and Tuesdays with calls for the couple of hours that I'm blocking off for that one Thursday that I have calls. And I don't do crap. Perfect example. There's only 2 days of podcast recordings the entire month. One in June and one in July and nothing else. And that's because, and it's on a Wednesday. And that is because I'm going to be outside at a pool, at a lake, at a water park, as long as it's not raining, somewhere with my girls or just me, but I'm going to be outside. And I used to have that fear of, what are people going to think? They're going to say, I need to be working. Like, who does she think she is for not being grinding and working hard and doing this? And this is where I'm going to tell you that enjoyment doesn't have to actually be spending money. It just be taking time off to take care of you and go do something you like. Water park's going to cost me some money, but hanging out at my friend's pool is not going to cost me any money except for the gas to get there. And it's not very far. So I think I really want us to focus on that before we end, because I just think that's really important. It's a misconception and it can play with that money mindset shift and how we manage our money, thinking that we have to grind to make money. And I believe that if we're not actually enjoying our lives and taking care of ourselves, we will vastly burn out much faster than we will, and we'll start resenting the business or clients or whoever. So I'm assuming there's a story behind that, but can you tell us where that thought came from and your opinion of that?
Well, actually, I never thought that I had to really grind. Although there was a time in my life where I had 3 jobs, but
that's grinding.
I got paid well, but I got paid well for them. And what I mean by that is it comes from so I come from healthcare. So overtime for healthcare is you're going to get time and a half. If you're on call, this is where it came in, that I was just like, wow, look at how I'll take weekend call for people, because you get paid a minimum of 2 hours of overtime. So that's a total of 3 hours. And I was so damn efficient when I was in the hospital, like from like walking in. I could walk in, do what I needed to do, and walk out within 30 minutes. And I'm getting paid for 3 hours. So to me, like that was efficiency. Like I always had this belief and I just loved efficiently making money. So in healthcare, that meant how much call can I take? So I had a full-time job that had call. I also did some piecework, basically, like I just got paid per patient. And then I took call for another hospital. It was just, to me, it was just like, oh, this is a great way to make a lot of money. And I kind of enjoyed that versus feeling like I had to work super hard, like super hard as in like manual labor. Now, I was like a flag girl for a construction company. That's hard work. That is boring work. I think I did it for 2 weeks. And I was just like, this is not for me. I'll go back to the grocery store where it's air conditioned.
But for entrepreneurs too, we have a concept sometimes that when we're starting our business that we need to, when I say work hard, work longer hours, we're supposed to, I don't know, work all day and evening or however it is, grind. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's that command. And a lot of us, we don't. We are like, okay, I'm not doing this. And then if we're doing it at our pace, then we're like, okay, am I doing something wrong? And I think it's important to understand that if you're not mostly enjoying what you're doing, then you something's going to change. Because one of the things I've realized is that now there are sometimes I do work in the evenings. There's sometimes I choose to work on a Saturday, but that's my choice. It's my business, my choice. But again, during the summer,
You
I'm
take time
gone
off. Well, I do the same thing
a
like
lot.
during football season. My husband loves to watch football. So he's like watching TV all day on Sunday. And so in order for that not to annoy me, during football season, I work on Sundays. So, and I'll take a different day off during the week, so that I'm still working the same amount, but I know what you mean. We can be guilted into like the business is not where I want it to be. So I need to keep working and working. And I think somewhere along the line, like I did that. I very much, I did that. And at some point it was like, there's this law called Parkinson's law that everything takes the amount of time that you give it. So there was something very fun about putting boundaries on. Here you go. You have 1 hour to write all of your content for next week. Done. And so that trying to do that and train yourself to do that also allowed me to find other ways to be efficient within my business. So, I mean, I have a podcast, and from when I started my podcast, it was like, what can I template? Because everything, like my VA knows, like, and I just recently had one VA leave and one come on board. It was like, there are templates for everything, so that it's just efficient.
Mhm,
And so it's
mhm.
also for my mindset too. Like I don't ever have to wonder like, oh my God, I got to
Well, you don't
write.
have to worry about it. You don't have
I
to worry
don't.
about whether what's gonna be done and what's not gonna be done, and I
Mhm.
think it's really important to understand that when you're starting out, you still need to take time off. I'm gonna be honest, my business has done a shift, and at first, when it was doing that shift and going through that rebirthing phase, I thought I needed to keep working, 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 and guess what was happening? The mindset shift with money and how I was looking at it, it was starting to go back. Not completely back, but the scarcity started coming up because I was working, working, working. And at the same time I was like, okay, this isn't working. What am I doing? It's not. You start second guessing yourself because you're not taking time out to enjoy yourself and take care of yourself and breathe. And when I started doing that, when I just took a step back and started breathing and dancing with music and doing the movement through music, which my accountability coach got me to start doing that. And when I started doing that and moving, it was like a light bulb went off. It was like,
Mhm.
Lisa, what the hell are you doing? You didn't like working like this when you were in corporate because it gave all the tension headaches, the tension in your neck. And why are you doing it now? You have this steady of revenue. You're okay. Yes, you've had to adjust your money roadmap, and that's what it's there for, is to adjust. And you're okay. Let's go and enjoy something. So I did. I took a complete day off, and it was like, and it was the best thing. And so I think that that's really, really important with our money mindset and our relationship with money, because it all trickles around to each other. Again, how we're taking care of ourselves and having fun with money, and, just doing those things. And when you have fun with how you're earning money, or the signs that universe gives you. And that's one of the things that we started doing. We made it a game, me and my accountability coach. She was like, let's see what kind of signs the universe gives you. And I'm not woo-woo. I'm all analytical. And I'm finding I like the woo-woo side a lot. And I'm leaning into it more than I used to, because I started recognizing signs from the universe.
Yay.
And the more I would recognize, the more signs I would see. And it would be this sign or this sign. And it started becoming fun. And so we've made a game out of it. Okay, let's see what kind of signs the universe is going to show Lisa this week, or, today. And then when I get the sign, I go, oh, I like this. Yes, more, please. And it's changing your shift, because again, you're having fun, you're raising those endorphins, and you're not thinking on the scarcity side, and you're letting your little girl, the little brain, I'm okay, you can sit in the back seat, this is what we're going to think about. And so I think that's really, really important to understand, that we all have different wants, we all have different desires. And one of the things that is happening with the shift, and what I'm teaching women, is what you are doing and what you're spending your money on. If it is not aligned with your core values and your desires, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You're going to be miserable. So Louis Vuitton bag, if that's not a core value and a desire, don't buy it. Don't save for it. Don't buy it. I'm going to be honest. I would rather spend it on something else. That's my core
purse
value,
that has
my
compartments.
Yes.
And,
or towards a vacation, or, I can think of like 5 things. And that's the point, though, is it needs to be, so often we're, like you said, that person, I bought this bag for my clients because I want them to know what's possible. Okay, well, why not show them that they can live life on their terms with their core values and their desires? Show that's possible. Because when we show that, then you're showing them that you're living based off of your core values and desires, which means they can too. So, and I just think that's really important, because I promise I'm not buying a Louis Vuitton bag for nobody.
No, you're not. You're not. But
I will go pay the money to put pink and purple in my hair.
Yes.
And I promise it's close to the price of a Louis Vuitton bag, or at least a beginner one.
Yes, it's true. It's just like, so instead of looking at what you don't have, and this is exactly what you're constantly teaching and shouting from the rooftops, Lisa, is like, look at what you do have. Look at it as a relationship with a person. And because if you kept telling that person, like, oh, there's never enough money. We never have enough money at the end of the month. Like, what would that person, money, think? Like, I'm just not good enough. Guess what? I think I'm going to leave. Like, I don't like this house. I'm going to Laurie-Anne's house, where they like call each other Mr. and Mrs. B.
I love that. Can you tell our guests, my listeners, there's something in my eye, what the free offer that you have for them is?
Oh, sure. I have a directory of places to speak, because I believe that speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. And talk about abundance, there are 20,000 speaking events, meetings, and conferences that are happening today globally.
Oh, wow. One day.
That's globally every single day. And here in the US, that's about 7,500 opportunities every single day. So get started by downloading the directory of places to speak at speakandstandout.com/directory, and get started today getting in front of the right people to grow your business, grow your brand, monetize your expertise.
Exactly. And we will make sure that that link is on the show notes. And until next time, thank you very much, Laurie-Ann, for being a guest. And until next time, my friend, please stay sassy. Bye. Thanks for joining us this week on Cash and Sass. Check us out on social media and on our website at www.thesassywealthcoach.com, where you can download my free Money Story Start Guide. The website again is www.thesassywealthcoach.com. And as always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you fresh content. And remember, yes, it is possible to have sassy and sexy money. See you next week.